In your studio space today, you should have your painting palette with your watercolor pod, your mountain landscape painting, where we did a light wash in the sky last time we were together, your value strip, and your monochromatic leaf painting. The last time we were together, we focused on just the lightest wash of color in the sky. Today we're going to be adding some darker values. And our next layer is going to be still very light. This will be the farthest mountains in the background. So we're going to add some more water to our palette. If you were working on a plastic surface, you can just add water and you will kind of reinvigorate your paint from the last time. That's what's nice about watercolors. You can reuse the paint that's kind of dried up on your palette. And I'm going to add my next row of painting in my next section. It's just going to be a little bit darker in value from my first sky layer. I apologize for the glare in the video. I will see if I can adjust that in a moment. So push your puddle along. You're trying not to see really brush strokes, but trying to make it a smooth Now that we've finished our second section in our painting, we're going to skip a section and move to a little bit darker value. The reason for skipping a section is you don't want your wet paint to run into another wet section. So in watercolors, this is why you need some patience to allow things to dry. I'm going to focus on the darker end of my value scale, but I'm not going to do my darkest section yet. I'm doing my second from the bottom row of hills or mountains, and it's going to be my second to darkest value. I'm going to, again, push the puddle along. Okay, now that we've painted our darker value, we need to let this dry for a little bit before we complete the painting. So set this off to the side and grab your monochromatic leaf painting. Now you may have more leaves than me or less leaves than me. I have right now, I think, 3 values showing in my leaf painting. I'm going to add one more value and I'm going to focus on the darkest value. So I'm going to add a little bit more pigment into my puddle to it so I get a nice dark pigment. Again, it's not going to be gummy though. I want to make sure it's not super thick like acrylic paint. And I'm going to add my final leaves, and my final leaves are going to be my darkest values. Your leaves might be almond shaped, they might look like hearts, they might be skinnier than my leaves, and that's completely fine. Your leaves might overlap or bend forward. However you decide to make your little leaf painting. And continue to add more. Okay, once you have completed all your leaves and you have at least 4 different values in your leaves, and you're happy with the balance of your picture, set it to the side and grab your mountain painting. Check that it is dry. If it seems really wet right now, you might need to wait a little bit longer because you don't want your paints bleeding into each other. We have to add our darkest value to the bottom and a medium value to the middle. I'm going to start with my darkest value and add that to the bottom. Again, pushing my puddle, trying not to have a lot of brush. Okay, now that my darkest value is complete, my foreground hills, I'm going to move to my middle hills, and they need to fall in line with the values in the middle of my value scale. So this one might be a little bit trickier. I have to make them a little bit lighter than the mountains, the second row of mountains, but a little bit darker than the fourth row of mountains. Once you can see your 5 different values in this mountain landscape, please submit both your pictures into Canvas, clean up your area, and have a great day.